I haven't done much in the way of progress videos, but I've finished, I guess, what I would call phase 2 of the master plan. And I think it's time to make it obvious what the master plan is. And I'll do that in just a sec. So I've cleared out this little knoll with its views. And as always, spectacular trees. I don't think I've even seen pine trees as big as that before. Not on the East Coast anyway. But huge big oak there, nice big oak behind it. I'll scooch past that for now because you'll see those again in a minute. But opening up the view here. It's almost like discovering an extension to the property that we didn't know about as silly because we knew about it, but we just couldn't access anywhere over here because it was completely overgrown, and it's not till the winter that you get to see the vision, and then of course can clear it out. But here's the next phase of what I've been doing. And I probably should have done a time lapse. In hindsight, I think it would have been interesting. Process is always the same though for carving in a road like this. Get rid of the trees that are in the way. Decide where you want it to go. Get rid of all the organic material, because organics slide under your feet and aren't very good. So this is the corner of our property. This tree here with the old barbed wire on it. Haven't had this point surveyed, but it'll be close to the tree. Property line disappears off in that direction for a long way. And this is a nice little flat spot over to another knoll at the end there, which I really like, but you know, it's 100 feet, not ours. But this is. So I turned the corner, took a look round here and thought, well, I bet I can carve a road. So get rid of the trees, get rid of the organics. I then dig through to what looks like very solid ground on the right hand side, almost like a keyway, and then start digging on the left, throw away all the topsoil, and then when I get compactable shale like this, it's fantastic. And then just keep digging as far down as you need to in order for both tracks to be on the undisturbed ground. Right, so the slope here is probably 45 degrees, and for the right hand track to be nice and safe, got to go down about 5 feet. So cut this in all the way around here. The right hand side does move. I do have to pick up some of this brush that's laying around. I'll come down here when it's had a few storms to solidify. Spectacular big trees, really are amazingly tall. There's a shag, that looks like a shagbark hickory, that's probably, it's got a little bit of wonkiness to it, but I'd say it's straight for 60 feet. Yeah, more than that. 20, 40, 60, 80 feet maybe. Nice big white oak here. So I wanted to get this road to the point where getting down to the river was easier. It is quite the slog to make it up here. So I came down as far as I could. I was tempted to go down a bit lower and round the bluff a little bit lower, but there's a limestone chunk that sticks out, and I was assuming it would have friends. And I can't remove huge chunks of limestone. So anyway, so I stuck at this grade, this height, and worked my way along. So we used to walk up that slope. That was the last bit of the slope, which was, easy. It was just now we only have half the distance to go down to get to the river. It is a little steep down there, but the rope goes all the way down. It's easy. I mean, if you put one hand on the rope and just scooch on down, it's not unsafe. And we have a nice big flat spot at the bottom and a large piece of limestone that juts out into the river with a big swimming hole behind it. And I'll tape that another day because I have a different plan of how to get down to the water's edge, and that's going to be another project. In simple terms, that straight tree that's right in the center of view here, if you take a left just past that tree, there's actually a limestone edge that you can follow. It's about 5-6 feet wide, and it meanders its way down to almost the water's edge. So if I can follow it, put a couple of short steps in, I can then do the last 20 feet that's a cliff just with a flight of stairs. And then we won't have to do such a scramble. Yeah, this was a dirt mine where I had to find enough material to be able to get around this corner, because I did not want to cut down that big oak and I did not want to disturb its roots. So I wanted to build up and around, and that's blended in okay. That's worked out okay. I have to do a little bit of reach over to clean up some stuff, and that grade is a nice useful grade. The only problem I came across is an obvious one. It's I think what I referred to as a lump of limestone. I have not found any of its friends, which is great. This is the only one. But the reason I didn't tuck the road down any further is that there's a couple of hunks of limestone sticking out there, which I believe is part of a ridge that goes down in this direction. And this is a parallel, the end of a parallel one. So I had to build up around the outside, which is fine, nothing wrong with that. And the road then appears back at something that I did a couple of years ago, which ends at a bluff. With some ropes there just to keep it nice and safe. It's a very nice spot down there, very quiet. The river is crystal clear, very low, and extremely cold. I would not want to be on that in the kayak and fall out. But this is getting better. I need to tidy up just a little bit, not a lot. And the second phase of this project is complete. The third phase is then to finish that pathway down to the water, which I will do another day. my perimeter run, I now use this trail, and it's added just enough for the perimeter now to be just over 2 miles. Occasionally the GPS would show it at 1.97, which always used to annoy me, because other times it would be 2.1. Now with this trail here, it's always just over 2, and sometimes 2.15. I don't know where that 1/10 of a mile sneaks in and out from, but it's the inaccuracy of GPS on your watch when you're running through the woods. I do have a trail that drops down the side here that we used to come up and down on the quads. I've now ruined that a little, only because you can't make it up this last little bit. So I need to turn that trail to the left there. And I need to warn a few people about that this Thanksgiving, so they don't try and get up the trail and then go, oh poo. Because when you get to the top, it's a little too late. You can't turn around, and you sure as hell can't reverse back down. So I think I'll bring it across over here. And I've found what used to be an old road grade, which would be a field boundary through beyond this big pile of brush. And I'll be opening that up. But those are other projects for other days. So that's it. Phase 2 is complete.